Do we have to have this conversation again this week, guys? The conversation of, was that the most boring game that you've watched so far? And how does that compare to last week? Or the Bologna match? This is probably, is this now the worst? It's a tie away from home against Atalanta. It's a point. You got a yep here. Most boring game. Dan asking if it's time for Allegri to go. Is it Allegri, though? This is what we have to ask. Stop asking the easy questions, Dan. It's the hard question. Was Allegri's tactics wrong, or did the players not show up? Because I looked at what happened today, and that wasn't a tactical issue. Much like last game and the game before, it wasn't a tactical issue. The players just aren't showing up. Stop looking for a scapegoat. Blame what needs to be blamed. It's not Allegri's faults. I mean, they've proven that they can look good, but there was neither team had the fight in them tonight. Neither damn team. Last game was lost on Howlers. This game, what I've seen is that nobody looked like they were trying. Exactly. He doesn't blame Allegri. Players just can produce in the final third. They didn't produce anything. Defensively, I guess you could say they did. Absolutely, in that regard. It's Jeff with the next. Says, honestly, we got lucky. Tech made one good save and then started to make mistakes after mistakes. Won't say I think a couple players aren't doing enough. And Jeff saw a few mistakes with Gatti as well. Yeah, there was a couple. There was a couple. All right, let's turn this crap off. Let's see if I got a message from Dash at all. Let's see if he's going to roll in here at all. Give me a sec as I check the messages from Dash. Nothing from Dash. So, yeah, I don't know. Is what it is. We either get Dash or we don't get Dash. But if you guys are rolling in here now for the post game, we'll start getting this rolling off here. So please like and subscribe for everyone new that's coming in. You think after I said that, I don't know how many times I can say subscribe without tongue twisting myself. Dan giving us a big up. Thank you. And good game for who? Us? Or the two teams that didn't just play? Or did play? Did they play? I don't know. I'm going to get the Bob up there, though, for you guys. We'll take a look at that quickly. And I'll open up the lines for you as well. Dan's giving a big up for Frankie and Jeff. Okay. Here is our thought mob. Arun got a 7.8. But that's the man of the match at a 7.8, which isn't the greatest. Rabia with a 7.3. Everyone said he had a better second half. Not great, but better. Tech given a 7, even though he's fumbled a couple. Even Tech save, though, was very good, but he also got very lucky. It didn't ricochet in front of him, yeah. Yeah, he did okay, but also fumbled a couple. What is it? Oh, boy. Things wigging out. I spilled some coffee on my keyboard, so I think, yeah, it's wigging out a bit. Awesome. Okay, sorry about that. Look at all that blue in the momentum. Yeah, Atalanta, if anyone was going to win today, it probably should have been Atalanta. We were the lucky ones to come away with that point. Oh my god, this is going to be annoying. The scroll. I haven't shared. Sorry, guys. Let me share the link. It's only so much we can go through all the numbers here, right? We want to bang through it, get it done. But there's a link. Link is in the description. And Good little banner. All right, so oh man, this thing. I'll rip through this because everything's messed up because I spill coffee all over the place. Expected goals, yeah, 1.16 to 0.15. 0.15. Oh, wow. 15 shots to 5. On target, 2 to 3. At least putters on target. Big chances, 3-0. Chance Smith's 3-0. Passes, 472 at 87, and we're 450 at 86. Fouls, 13 to 7. Yeah, we didn't really play that rough. Corners, 5 to 2. They had chances. Their finishing was absolute trash. They should have won the game. That's that. Is that dash coming in? Final check. No. No. Just more people bitching about how bad of a game that was. Really just bitching at how bad of a game it was. That's all it is. Guys, the lines are open. Jump in here. Save me from talking to myself. Everyone's welcome. Ken Fish. Enjoy your community Sally Borefest on the pitch. Yeah, I can't change what happens there. Tell coming in. Hey, what's going on?
What's going on?
How you doing?
That was terrible.
Yeah, it was.
That was pretty terrible. Atalanta like gifted us a point today.
Pretty much.
Because if Coop Miners could shoot today, he should have had a hat trick. He had those 3 big chances that were absolutely abysmal.
Yeah. All just rocketed over the bar.
Yeah. Thanks, and Woj saved us also with that big save on Muriel's.
Yes. Which that was my one fear with Muriel coming on is taking something cheeky from far like that.
Yeah. And he's known for that. He did that really well at Milan. And that's why he stayed on as a bench guy for so long over there.
It's Jeff with an X.
What's up, guys? Dude, I fell asleep, actually. I fell asleep on the 60th minute, so, yeah, what happened?
And around the 60th minute is when I started making myself breakfast. I was like, all right.
Oh, breakfast, Jesus.
I think personally, it was
a long night last night.
Watching paint dry and grass grow. I don't know which one was funner, watching this game or paint dry.
I prefer watching grass grow because it's a life. There's actually something living in that, which is more to say than what we saw tonight.
It was like as if I could just watch the National Geographic's channel. That game was just, my God, we got lucky. Let's be honest. We got lucky to scrape that point. We were not good.
It was okay. Was it the worst game so far?
Absolutely not, obviously. No. Obviously the Sassuolo game was far worse.
Most boring, from a neutral perspective, worst game so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Likely. If you're going to go for the razzle dazzle, yeah. For us, it wasn't the worst game, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, well, other than that, we all know how we feel. I think we all feel pretty much the same with that. Is there something, Rabiot, is that somebody we need to bring up? Because I didn't think he was maybe as horrible as others thought. He had his pros and cons.
He was pretty bad. I think the midfield overall was pretty bad. And we see that when we have no space on the wings, our midfield doesn't really do anything. Mm-hmm. And what was really bothering me today is that we had a lot of it almost felt like they would get the ball and they didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
It's okay, who am I passing it to? Now, everyone's already made their runs, so they're at the end of their run before anyone can decide what the pass is going to be. And then it's well, I'm at the end of my run. I'm not going to run back and then keep running back and forth until you're good to go. And then we did nothing. And then the ball would go all the way back to Chaz, to Woj, and then we'd be done.
Octagon ball.
Exactly. And I was excited because we had a lot more, even against Sassuolo, and I really only caught the first half of the Sassuolo game. We showed movement and we showed passages of play that indicated that we are better than this nebulous garbage that we did a lot last season. And I don't like that, like, now we're seeing, like, a regression to this, like, scared mentality of, like, nobody wants the ball. Nobody's like, give it to me, I'm going. Even Chiesa today wasn't very much like that. And he was probably the best one going forward. I think Keane did really well against 3 guys at all times.
Yeah, he was definitely
Like,
marked up.
You know, and nobody, and even when he was marked up, nobody was still coming to, like, help him out, because he showed that he probably could have gotten out of a lot of those situations and somebody would have come short for some 1-2s. And it's like, how are we not working on these things? It's like also my, like, what, like, where's the disconnect? Because there's a huge disconnect somewhere.
My only criticism I'm going to give towards Allegri is that sometimes when players are not playing that good, they need to just be subbed out. And he doesn't do that a lot of times. That part, when Rabiot does not play good, he should get out. And honestly, I would have seen, like I said, if Fagioli in the Regista, then use Locatelli as a mezzala. Like, I want to see something new because this isn't working.
Yeah, I need more out of Loca. I need more out of Loca.
Because I don't think this is his natural position. I don't think, I've seen so many sample size games with Loca playing at Regista, and then it's like he's not showing up, or at least he's inconsistent. And the thing is, maybe he needs to play as a mezzala to at least maybe we should witness and observe the better performances of Loca, because I don't think this is going to cut it out for him. And maybe try Fagioli as a regista, and maybe he can show some creative play, maybe to create those through balls. I think he's more of a creative player, and he can try to create opportunities and passes, whereas I think Loca, I don't think he can play that regista role.
Surely they have tested this in training, though. You would think.
My issue is less so with everybody in the midfield having a traditional role, and more so there's nobody's cycling. Everybody's doing the same thing every time. So because everybody's doing the same thing every time, if we're playing against a team with players that have any intelligence whatsoever, they're going to watch that and they're going to be like, all right, he's going to drop back. He's going to do this. Where do I find my space? There it is. Okay, goal. That's the problem. It's like I would almost prefer Fagioli as a regista, because I feel like, because it's not 100% his position, he's going to try to cycle out, right? And that's going to force somebody else to do that kind of defensive ball playing duty. And then you can kind of keep cycling out, and then nobody knows where the balls are coming from. So then they're going to try to, we're going to double man mark one of these other midfielders. Then that's going to create overload somewhere else. That's where you pass to. How do I know this? Do you know what I mean? How can I figure this out? And we're not able, and the guys are not able to do it on the pitch day in, day out, and I also don't like that, we had that healthy little 2 points, and now that 2 points is 4 points. And then if we keep, falling into this, league quicksand, I find that a lot of the times what gets teams out of the top 4 is not how many losses they have, but it's games that they draw that they should have won. And I think today, regardless of how we played, we needed to come out to win today. We needed to come out because we need 6 points against Atalanta.
Yep. You know what? I also wanted to another criticism towards Allegri I was going to have was switching out Cambiaso for Kostic. He should have put Illing instead.
I wanted to see Illing today. Because Illing will cut into the middle when Chiesa goes wide.
But and also I just think he has more energy, more intensity. Again, Kostic is just too predictable.
Kostic did show a lot of energy, but he was chasing the play a lot, I found.
But he was also making wrong passes. That's what.
But that's what I'm saying. He was making wrong passes, but he was cleaning up errant passes, and he was just kind of going back and forth. He never really settled into it, but he did show. And I mentioned that Kostic for 30 minutes or so isn't bad, because he does have that energy. When he has to play for 60 plus minutes, he's haggard by the 60, 70th minute, So he's not the worst coming off.
We looked haggard in the first 15 minutes. I don't know.
Yes, as a whole.
what we're doing, but why do we look gassed.
So we did have
First
a
15
fairly congested schedule. And I mean, what's our excuse? Because we
But,
don't
like,
have to play midweek now.
That's bullshit. Because last season there was like a stretch. I think I forgot what month it was, but we played like every 3 days for 30 days or something like that.
Yeah, no, I know, and that's the only thing I can really think of because both teams.
But like we should be fit enough to play at that level.
Yeah, sure, but that's the only excuse I'm coming up with at this point. Because why else would they just look completely haggard? Just even before the game, they look this way.
I feel like even like when players look completely gassed out or fatigued, I feel like Allegri, another criticism I'm going to give is like he's not able to motivate them, push them, like bring up the energy levels. And sometimes a coach is going to need to bring up the energy levels. He's not good at that. He's a master tactician. I think tactically he's fine, but like as far as like Allegri is able to wake the players up and shake them up, he can't do that.
I mean, he's out there yelling and losing his mind, so I don't know what else he needs to do.
I don't know. He's not convincing me. Or at least I think his press conferences are pretty bad. I don't know. I didn't like him.
Well, he just keeps everything sort of PG and doesn't
And then
create
he's
any
also like a
controversy,
little
right?
sarcastic.
Yeah, when he keeps on, because if you ever listen, I don't know if you do listen to the actual press conference or if you just read the transcript, but the media personnel sometimes are idiots and they just keep on asking the same thing. And they might just ask it slightly different, and Allegra's just like, you're dumb. So here's the stupid answer I'm going to give you now because you keep on asking the same stupid question.
Also, like a lot of times people don't see the questions he's being asked. They just see what he said. So they think that like he independently like, oh, I'm going to choose to talk about this when they keep asking him the same dumb 4 questions over and over again.
They're dumb answers because they're dumb questions, essentially.
He's like, oh, you're going to ask me a stupid question? Well, I'm going to give you a really stupid answer.
Yeah.
And then you have the Gazzetta taking it out of context, and then voila, you create a great article piece.
Exactly. Yeah. That's how Gazzetta operates.
It's like the CNN and the Fox News of Italy, pretty much.
I just don't know why people choose to read and consume such trash. Like they know it's trash, don't they? I don't know.
If you're reading it for entertainment purposes to get a laugh, sure. But if you're reading it to believe it, then I feel bad.
I feel like it's the Italian sports page equivalent of like the National Enquirer or like the Daily Globe that you see in like in the supermarkets. I don't know if they have those in Canada.
Oh yeah, no, they do.
It's like
we have a lot of stuff on the royal family though, being like the British Empire kind of.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. It's like Queen Elizabeth gives birth to a lizard. Like,
oh man, yeah, probably not too far off from reality there.
No. Yeah, I don't know. It was a very low energy game. I don't know why the players aren't really motivated, or like are they just predictable? Are the tactics the same thing that other teams have like figured them out? What is it? That's really the question.
But it's Atalanta. They're doing the exact same thing. That's pretty much the same setup, and they brought the same energy, same tactics.
Yeah, but like we felt like we were throwing our heads at the wall, where Atalanta felt like a wall.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
they were definitely on the front foot.
They didn't do much, and most of their actual big chances came from us not playing well and giving them a little bit of space. And so like they were very, very unlucky today. They should have had like 5.
Should have. But I mean, we've been plagued with poor finishing too, how many matches, right? With things that got away from us. So at least in that sense, we can find some solace, maybe. That even when we play crap, we can get a
I don't even know if our finishing is like that bad. We just don't like take a lot of shots or get a lot of chances. Like
no,
there's a lot of times. There's a lot of times when we'll pass around the top of the box with like nowhere to put it when like somebody should just shoot. Somebody should just shoot. Like we need to just start doing shooting from outside the box drills and like at this point, don't even try to pass it.
If anybody should practice shooting out of the box more, it should be Danilo. He does it all the time, and like 1 million out of 1, like gets to go in the back of the net.
Locatelli should be scoring like that should be his bread and butter. Is like
I agree.
they should be leaving defenders deep to block a long range shot.
He actually has a good shot though. He has a good shot.
I don't know why we're not seeing it. I don't know like I think the only instruction that Max should have given them at halftime was like shoot. Just shoot. Just shoot from outside the box. Shoot from way out of nowhere. Like at this point, like Musso's not going to be able to stop everything.
No, I'm gonna let you guys take this away as I do my boomer break again. So just
go do your thing.
Just don't kill the channel.
Yeah, I don't know.
Burn it down.
Yeah, no. Let's take over. It's a party. We're taking over the stream. But yeah, it was like Locatelli just needs to be more involved, and I think again, he should play a different position. I don't think it's suited for him.
I don't know if it's not suited for him. I just think all of our midfielders should cycle all the positions, like I was saying before. Like I'm not saying that Rabiot is going to be the best distributor of the ball, but when Rabiot is in that like deep position, then he's going to just lay it off to somebody that's wider so that they can play it up to Loca or Fagioli, who's further up the pitch. If our midfielders are constantly cycling, it gives more more options.
Are you thinking like cycling as like a game of volleyball? As they're like switching their positions pretty much?
Yes.
Okay.
And the thing is that a lot of successful midfields did that really well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even like if you look at like right now, Inter and Napoli last season did that really well, I think. Right now, like if you look at Inter, like you know Mkhitaryan and Çalhanoğlu are both capable of distribution. Where like with us, like we know that like Fagioli, Moretti are kind of capable of distribution, and like Loca should be, right? So if you think of it like a double pivot, and then
right,
Rabiot works his way in there wherever he works his way in there. But if your midfielders are constantly moving, you have guys that are set to mark them. You know what I mean? Because we're the only ones really in Serie A that do like really hardcore zonal marking.
Do you think it's effective?
I don't think it's effective because clearly like this, it sticks guys to their position. And so there's not as much fluidity. And so like you have to kind of like have a mix where like I feel like you got to be zonally aware when you're on offense, but when you're on defense, like you should be pretty marked up. Especially when you're defending in your own half.
Right. Yeah, no. That was to be honest with you, like or maybe just try a completely different position. Like literally just try a completely different position. I have like a 3-5-2, but the third midfield play behind the two strikers as a key.
I'm also at this point like McKennie's been doing such a good job, and I also really want to see McKennie and Weah on the pitch at the same time. Because when you see them line up for the USA, and like I'm like total shout out to Weston,
right?
From who's in the New York JFC. He talks about this all like I want to see maybe instead of like Rabiot, because Rabiot's not necessarily been playing so amazing the last couple of games. See what like putting Fagioli out on the left would look like with McKennie on the right of the midfield and Weah next to him, and see because they do some nice 1-2s together. And I'd like to see, like, at this point, like, let's see what we can do there. Because Weston's been one of our better performers. Like, he was, like, on the chopping block. And now, like, he's, like, really proved himself. Upside down again.
Tal's pins are disorganized. What's going on?
It was just this one was just upside down. I'm like looking at my own
It would be a nice theory, though. I did watch the Orlando. I was in Orlando when I watched the Juve Real game preseason where McKennie and Weah were playing together, and they had some good moments. Yeah.
So yeah, I think also like Vlahovic would have been good today. Maybe, I don't know. He's can also fall short when the team's not playing well. I'm just surprised that like we didn't support each other. We'd make a pass out to nowhere and be like, okay, bye, you're welcome. Package delivered.
There was no fluidity. It was just dead. It was dry. It was like a plain potato chip. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It was just boring. Again, I think you wouldn't even need sleeping pills. You probably just watch this match and then you literally fall asleep. It cures insomnia.
I had 2 double espressos during this match.
Yeah, I had a couple coffees, so kept me going.
It's the only way I was going to be able to make it through was with 2 espressos.
No.
And like, what's really upsetting is also like, the like secondary issues with this, right? Like, it's going to be hard to generate, and I think about this as like being in a JOFC, is like, where do you now, like, it's if we play like this and then there's all these scandals that they try to throw on us year in, year out, like who's going to want to watch us? Like, we don't even want to watch us.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna throw scandals like this year. Maybe in the next 3 years they will. They're not gonna do it like
they're gonna do it. It's gonna be like a 7-year cycle. It's like
it's gonna be a cycle. I don't know about now, but it'll probably be in the next 5 years or the next 3 years.
Every generation of Juventini is gonna have their
their
calciopoli.
Their calciopoli, yeah.
Or
maybe we hope
what
not.
happens is when we dominate the league, and then when as soon as Juventus starts not doing
it's like
well, they fall down, then boom, they come at you with the
Juve starts playing well, scandal. Juve stops playing well. Juve, you know what I mean?
It is.
Everyone gets jealous. You know what I mean? We go in a cycle.
If you remember, I became a Juve fan in 2001. Back prior to Buffon, when it was Van der Sar as goalkeeper, and then Zizou playing, and you had Edgar Davids, and I was like, that was the coolest team. And they were doing good from 2001 all the way to 2006, and they had a brilliant team. They had a really good team within the 2004 to 2006. And the moment the scandal hits, then they go down to the second division, and then within 3-4 years, they're not, we're no threat. And then in 2011 and all the way up to 2021 or to 2020 to that say, we were great. And then boom, we get hit with another fine. As soon as it's a cycle, like
it's a fine. And the thing is that in this time, we were proven innocent so much sooner. I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed, but like there was a bunch of news that came out a couple weeks back about the salary maneuvers being completely bullshit, and that all the evidence that they had for the salary maneuvers was a nothing burger.
Well, yeah, I think, and we can see that with Paratici, how he's getting away with stuff now. Excuse me. I think a lot of it was just they wanted to clear the books and move on with things instead of having like a protracted lawsuit going into this season, potentially even the next season. Right?
No, and I know that, but what they did was they got us because they got us to admit, they got us to take the pleas early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They did.
So we essentially admitted guilt by taking the plea. It's like a non-admission of guilt plea, but everyone is going to remember it's a plea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, you guys still took the plea. You knew there was something shady going on. And it's like a whole thing.
Yep. No, you're
annoying
right.
Because it's like, why do we have to keep living through this? Let us just play the game. I don't want to have to be like an accountant and a lawyer and like international law professor.
I think if they were gonna fight for like in a sense, it probably would have taken another 5 years or so.
I think it was definitely a pick your battles kind of thing. It's just frustrating. You know what I mean?
It is. But that's
They have
part of being
leverage.
at the top, though, right? The top team
Only
historically.
it's just a historically something that we have to deal with. I mean, in every other league, like the league protects the top teams.
I would say every other league, but like
Maybe not like Portugal, but like
Well, you're referring to the top 4 leagues in Europe, like Bundesliga, Premier League, and La Liga.
yeah,
If you're referring to that, yeah,
that's what I'm referring to.
yeah,
yeah, okay, yes, in that sense.
yeah. Well, the leagues view they're viewing Man United, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Tottenham as assets. They see them as assets. In Italy, we view every top team. They view each other as enemies. They don't view each other as rivals, and that's a big issue because if Inter was to do well, or Juve or Milan, and then the other teams are going to start feeling petty or jealous. And then you have people in the governing body when they're probably like low key supporting a team that goes against their interests. They're going to try to shit on them pretty much, and then they're not looking at these teams as in a neutral way as assets that can make the league a lot of money. So they see them as enemies.
That's the problem with Serie A, is that we got to move the whole league into the 21st century. But at that's just also it just comes out of me complaining because I'm tired of just not getting to just play the game and having to get scapegoated on everything. At least the refereeing wasn't like absolutely extremely terrible today. It was pretty.
What's just surprising from that individual?
It was pretty even. The referee.
It was also pretty peaceful because the intensity of the match wasn't as bombarded or it was a pretty boring match. None of the teams really played with high intensity to the point where they were causing a lot of fouls.
Also, we played like that, and those Atalanta fans were rocking today.
Oh yeah,
they were loud. And the thing is that the stand behind the opposite goal, which is where their away fan stand is under construction. So there was very little Juve fans there today.
Wait, under construction.
I mean, no, it was completely demolished. There were pallets of bricks there. I mean,
to be continued. Holy cow.
Does anybody care to answer that?
Which one?
Vincenzo Montella,
wasn't he the coach of Milan?
Yeah, he was Milan, and then also Fiorentina. Yeah, he played for us, right? I think he played for us.
Bring him up.
Might have been, yeah.
I don't know. Such a random question. I don't know if anybody.
I don't know.
As a coach,
nah.
I don't know if Montella, right now, I wouldn't take Montella. Right? You know who I do like? I do like Dionisi.
Yeah.
I like Dionisi. But I think the latest rumors was Conte and Thiago Motta.
Yeah, those were the two latest.
Well, who would you guys pick? Actually, that's a good question.
I'd still want to see Igor Tudor. I really like Igor Tudor, but I want someone that's going to be around for at least 3 seasons that we can really grow with. And Tudor also seems to be the one that he likes to stick around for a season or 2 and then move. And I don't know what his qualms are. If maybe he doesn't feel ready or whatever it is. So I don't necessarily want to put my eggs in that basket. And I have the same issue with Conte, but Conte does leave squads in a much better position. Inter really positively built on what Conte put in place.
Yeah, I agree.
Conte's the only for sure outcome, I think, that you know what you're gonna get with. The other ones
I don't know. I don't know if for us though, if I think maybe for new teams, but we haven't seen him come back to a squad and do that.
This is true. That would be
and the other thing is that we also know that we don't have a lot of money, and do we want oh, you can't eat €100 restaurant with €10, Conte coming back, and like we have less money and the market is worse now. Like that when Conte said that, we were in a better financial position. So is he gonna like he's a double-edged sword, right? Like
Yeah.
he can either be one way or the other. So like I'd almost like rather like go after a Dionisi or go after Thiago Motta. Fuck it.
I think
You know?
I was gonna go for Conte for one reason. I do think he can do better with less, with more. Like he can get better out of players that are not as good, or like players who lack experience. I think he can kind of put these players on accountable, like have them accountable for mistakes, or like take players out if
I
they're
think
not doing well.
McKennie in a Conte system would be very good.
Yeah,
I think also like I think Kostic is a player that would thrive in a Conte system. We have a lot of guys that would do really well.
that's what I'm saying. And I think like with Conte, as one thing is like on his first 2 seasons, he doesn't do bad. He did it with Juve. Obviously, he rebuilded the team from the ground up. He did that with Chelsea when he went there, and then he did pretty well when he coached Italy in the Euros. Because that team, that squad in 2016 that Conte had, was really considered one of Italy's like worst 11 or something to that degree. That's what it was said at one point. And then Conte did pretty well with that squad. With Chelsea, he did pretty solid. And like the first season and a half, he kind of rebuilt it in a way. And then with Inter, he did a pretty good job.
Also like like all credit where credit's due for Conte. I don't like the way he left the first time.
100%. I think he's a toxic guy. Like I think he's toxic.
I also look at
Yeah.
our track record with bringing back exes.
Yeah, no.
This
Yeah.
is true. Yeah.
It is
Benucci,
true.
the latest.
Sometimes we have to kind of make that. We kind of have to make that risk. I'm not looking.
The thing is that
Yeah.
I like the idea of that risk, right? Don't get me wrong. I like the idea of that risk, and that same risk is the risk that we took on Conte the first time we signed him, right? So like, why not make another risk in the vein of that risk and go for a Thiago Motta who we haven't tried yet? Because before Conte, we had never tried Conte. And I think that like trying a new thing and going in that, you know what I mean? Like we want to solve a problem by not making the same kind of decisions, right? Because we've been like, oh, Allegri had stability. Let's bring back Allegri. This player knows the team. Let's bring him back. Let's do this. This guy knows this.
I would think, like I said,
we have Giuntoli, who's like one of those, like, okay, bringing in a guy that we think is going to do well, right? And then I think we should let him make similar vein decisions. So I think bringing in a new guy, unless like, again, if Conte comes in, I'm going to want Conte to be successful. Like I'm going to support, like I want Allegri to be successful. I don't necessarily put today so much on Allegri because he's screaming his head off on the sideline, clearly unhappy about the way we're playing. And players are not, like, Allegri gives players a lot of freedom. He doesn't put a rigid system in place. So when that happens, like, that means that the players are not clicking to what he's trying to say. And I'm not saying that he's the coach that we need right now. I'm just kind of being objective about like how an Allegri system thrives, right? Is when players are confident enough to do their own thing and they do their own thing without having to worry about like
yeah, but I think also because we got a lot of younger guys, they still, like, some of these younger players need a little bit of direction to a degree.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just like objectively talking about like how an Allegri's team.
No,
I mean, I think like Ancelotti is like very similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah, no. Zidane and Ancelotti and Allegri have a very similar ground. Yeah, I totally agree with that. That's what I mean. It's just the thing is, because we got a lot of these young players, they need energy. They need like some kind of motivation,
but
like the jump.
I agree, and that's why I think like that's why I would take the chance on Thiago Motta. Because if you look at Thiago Motta was like begging to have Cambiaso like back at Bologna.
I think he would also be a better attacking minded than Allegri. I think he would be able to work.
I just want like a modern coach. I want to just try something different. I don't want to do something that we've done already. So like just get a new guy.
So
like
Thiago
there are
Motta
guys
and Dionisi.
like Thiago Motta. I like Dionisi. Well, who's the coach for Monza that was on the cards? They were talking about him over the summer a bunch of times. Palladino.
Oh yeah, from Monza.
Palladino.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's coaches that are capable of getting more than the sum of their parts out of the squads. Palladino played for us. I was confusing Montello with Palladino.
My thing is, it's like I also want to know what the coaches think of like the Fagioli and the Miretti or the Cambiaso, the Wea, or even pretty much McKennie. How are they going to be able to develop Dusan a little bit better? These are those little things that I'm looking for, like in a coach. Like, how is he going to get these guys to work together as a unit? That's really the question. That's really what I want to know, because I see like there's a lot of good potential. Like I see players with great potential, but the thing is, as a coach, how are you going to get these guys to work together? Maybe play slightly more attacking to be able to create more chances for like Dusan and Chiesa to be able to score more and to put the goals in the back of the net. Because I think that's the one problem I see with this team is we're not able to create chances.
I just feel like they gotta want it. I feel like nobody wants it.
So Anthony's asking Tudor or Zidane?
Tudor or Zidane? Do you want like Zidane is just Allegri?
Nah, I would take Tudor.
French Allegri.
Oh, it's split.
I'm taking Tudor.
I would go. I'm going with Tudor too.
I think okay. I'm going with Tudor. Yeah.
But if, for example, if the players were in form, okay, if the circumstances were that if these players were in top form and able to perform every week on a consistent basis, and they're able to bring results, and they're already like experienced, motivated, then I would pick Zidane. But because we're still in that developmental phase where we're still developing some of these players, because a lot of these players are younger, then yes, I would take a tutor, like a drill instructor, a drill sergeant, to be able to keep moving the energy levels and motivating them and keeping them accountable. I just don't think Zidane can do that.
There should be like 3 or 4 plays that like our squad should be able to do, like if they were completely drunk or absolutely had didn't know what to do. Like they're like, okay, cut in here, lay it off to this person, so on and so forth. Like there should be like 3 or 4 plays that we should know what to do. If we have no ideas, okay, we like try to just run this, and we don't even have that.
And I think also players themselves, like individually, needs to start understanding other players' behaviors and the way they play on the pitch. So when a Chiesa is playing, then okay, get open for Chiesa, create those off-ball opportunities. When you don't have the ball, you're creating opportunities, open-ended opportunities for Chiesa to play. When I play soccer, for example, and I have a guy that's a pretty well, like he can dribble well with the ball, I'm trying to move. I'm trying to make a run so that I can take defenders out or whatever the case is. So either give an open-ended for the player that's dribbling to score or to have an opportunity for him to pass it to me. But the point is that we got to understand one another, and we also got to be able to move without the ball. We got to have that off-ball movement pretty clinically. Like we got to be able to move without the ball too, because I think that's far more important than what you do with the ball at times.
I completely agree, and I think you saw a lot of what was indicative today. Like guys were making the same runs.
Exactly.
There was a couple times where Cambiaso and Rabiot are making the same run on the left.
Yeah, we've seen that as well with Keys and Kostic. But yeah, they're taking up each other's space.
They got to talk. Like the thing is, okay, I was playing one time as a number 9 or as an attacking mid, right? And if I'm playing any of those positions, I want to be able to communicate with with the number 9, with the striker or the center midfielders, know how they play, so they'd be like, okay, when you got the ball, I'm going to try to get open for you. The point is, all these guys have got to be able to get together and communicate. Like these, like you're getting paid millions of dollars. Like, you're getting paid $1 million plus, whether that's 8 million, 10 million, whatever the case it is. Like, you got to be able to know those nuances, understand your players, so that not only you're benefiting yourself, you're benefiting the team, and you're going to have better results. I mean, these are like basic shit that you learn in professional sports. I don't know what to say.
Also, I want to point out, just because I was thinking about it, if we would have come and done that and supported each other, you would have seen. I think Keane would have had man of the match today.
Oh, for sure.
He actually, all the balls that he got today to his chest, to his head, that last season he was completely chuffing, he actually maintained today and was able to bring him down and at least pass. I think he was dispossessed very few times today. And when he was, it was like 3 guys. He was getting jumped.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. He was being very physical. He was our most physical player.
He needed to drop deep a couple of other times, but the thing is that the only reason he would have needed to drop deep is because the midfielders are not moving properly.
Yeah, it's again the off-ball movement. Like, there needs to be like a form of understanding. Either Allegri has to see it in himself that, okay, maybe some of these midfielders, we're positioning them better. I think the cycling idea isn't a bad thing. It's just something there.
And this is where I was talking about earlier with the regression, right? Like we like we're showing promise, and then like today we did nothing. And I'm like, what is causing this such a drastic change in how we play, from being like really formidable and moving the ball in the right areas to completely flat and just passing and like getting a counterattack and turning a counterattack into a pass back to the goalkeeper.
I saw that one also, like some of even our defenders, like I seen this one play where Cambiaso was passing it back, and then it was supposed to give it to Gatti, and then Gatti went forward and it was like out of bounds.
I also think that, like, as much as we think maybe our midfield is our problem, I think our defense is also our problem.
Yes.
And you catch like maybe one of the reasons, that we don't see a lot more out of Loca is because he's covering so often and dropping back so often.
What about
he has to, and a lot of time there was a lot of times where we had a back four that was either like Gatti, Bremer, Danilo, Cambiaso, or it was Gatti, Locatelli, Bremer, Danilo as almost like a makeshift back four.
What about the transition from defending to attacking, not being quick enough, and then building up from the back three? Like the back three players aren't quick enough on the build-up play.
Well, what was interesting is that I feel like a lot of our counterattacks today kind of came through like a quick deflection into or through Fagioli. Dave, you were doing the watch along. I don't know if you noticed that as well, where like he when he would drop back and collect the ball, Loca would get the ball out or do a great tackle, but Fagioli would like collect it and move it.
Yeah, Fagioli was kind of all over the place, and yeah, he would come back, collect. He was there a few times.
And I almost want Fagioli like a little bit further up on that to get the next pass so he can lead it through. And maybe Fagioli as a regista is a good idea. Again, I don't want to say like one thing is the answer over something else. I just think that like something needs to change and it needs to happen quick, because there's no way we're going to make top four with consistent performances like this. And we need to be getting 6 points against these teams. And we need to be getting 6 points against the kind of mid 10, you know what I mean? Like relegation, those mid-table teams is what wins you Serie A, really.
Yeah.
So what about what I was going to say was for a 3-5-2. So instead of trying to use the, sorry about that, So instead of trying to use a regista, we use a cam instead. If you know what
I would love to play a double pivot with a cam. It's just like who's going to be the cam, and at the same time, if you do a double pivot with a cam, I think that just leans itself into what I was saying earlier with like if your midfielders cycle responsibilities, then you're a lot less predictable, even if your midfielders don't all have the same range of passing.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking the double pivot with the cam, where you're using Fajoli to play the cam role, and then
that's what I would do. I would have a double
Locatelli
pivot.
and Rabiot as the pivot.
That's what I feel is the best.
Because I'm kind of coming, kind of like the 2017 formation back in the day where Dybala was playing behind Mandzukic and Higuain.
Yeah,
that
was like a 4-3-1-2.
But something to that degree, but wasn't like I think Chiellini.
I'm just showing because we need some positivity, and the woman won.
Did the ladies win today? That's
4-1, and you know.
Oh, so they have a nicer shirt sponsor than we do.
They just changed it. It's Femme. It's an online like female message board deal.
It's nicer than the Jeep with the
Jeep.
Bolt.
We're losing the Jeep thing, I think, pretty soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. If the Jeep is just going to sign a new deal with us.
We'll see.
It would be a really easy way for Exor to give us a bunch of money as if they gave it to Jeep first.
Yeah, that's usually how that kind of stuff goes down. But there's other companies in the fold, so we'll see. Maybe
what's going to matter if Exor wants to give us more money is also if the league does well. So if we were able to have as Juventus and the entire league in Italy is able to have more viewership, then maybe we would have Exor give us some more money.
I would stop playing Juventus Atalanta at noon.
Because of the Ryder Cup.
What is the Ryder Cup?
It's a golf thing.
Oh, okay. It's a golf
It's
thing.
like the Europe versus America thing.
Oh, okay. So I guess that that does draw maybe a fair share of viewership. And then we did play midweek, but still.
I don't know. I don't buy it, but sure.
I don't know. How many people are gonna watch that? Like
it was like, the Juve game? Yeah, sure, we can move that one, no problem.
Oh, the biggest team in the country is playing another top 10 team.
Yeah, no problem.
No, one of the biggest rivalries in the top of our league. Nah. Nobody needs to see that.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not that important anymore. It sucks.
I think they're trying to pretend like we're not that important anymore.
So, because Dash isn't here, I'm doing the scroll through X to see what's going on, and same people. It's the same people.
I'm not on the X.
I haven't been on social media for about a month because I'm after this I'm just going out doing school stuff. So
no, I don't blame you. I only do it because of this.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't X. Who's crying? Who's crying? The regulars.
The regulars.
Oh, I wonder what they're crying about.
Yeah.
I could only imagine if this like social media was as high as it was in 2009 and 2010 in those seasons. And I would like to hear what they thought of like Diego back in the day when they bought the Brazilian Diego. And that guy was supposed to be the big thing for Werder Bremen, if you remember who I'm talking about.
I remember Diego.
Yeah.
I remember Diego.
And that was a big flop.
Yeah.
I think it would have been worse because people were just more aggressive back then as well, right? Now people are woke to a degree and they're a lot gentler.
people are nice. People back then used to like literally argue in the streets and fight over these things.
Yeah,
like actual fights.
Yeah, like actual fights, and not saying like to give those people social media would have actually been hilarious. In my
It would
opinion,
look
just
back in time.
it-
Yes.
Well, they
looking
would have
back
been
in time,
banned. They would have been banned from their platform. Let's be honest.
would they? I mean, that's by today's standard, they would.
Yeah,
be
by
banned,
today.
but not by those standards back then. So you have
Oh,
to
God.
judge history from those times.
Listen,
I used to
every
remember. I used to like criticize Vucinic back in the day all the time,
Listen,
but he was
he
okay.
found that loophole where he can take his pants off and not going to
Oh,
yell. About it.
I did remember that.
That's
Or
still
how
the
crazy
best.
was it the Juve Milan game 10 years ago when it was Matri that tied the match?
Dude, Matri, if his first touch was good, that ball was going in.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of his thing. His first
Wow.
touch wasn't always good though. That was the thing.
Look who shows up.
Hello,
Oh,
hello,
shit.
hello.
There goes the neighborhood.
Yeah.
How's everybody?
Well, you know.
Half asleep.
Could have been worse.
Yeah.
Could have been worse. Could have been
Yes.
very worse.
Could have
I'm
been.
disappointed. Honestly,
could've
I'm
been-
disappointed. I expected more.
I know. I expected Atalanta to score 5.
You really? Like
I mean,
from the beginning?
no,
Or
not
when
from
the match
beginning.
played out.
As the match played out, it's like
At least
looking
2
back
goals.
on it, we're lucky that wasn't worse than
Yeah.
Sassuolo.
Oh, Zappa Costa missed chances.
Oh my
Miners
god.
usually scores. Chesney miracle save. I mean, yeah, we were very lucky. I don't know what our goal was, but at the same time, I'm looking at the players we have. Okay, how can we unlock it? All right, I'm like, who do we have from the bench that can help change? Like maybe he should have put Kostic and should have put Ealing.
That
Yeah,
was
maybe we need the
we were
pace.
talking about that earlier. That's
Yeah,
the only
I
the only
criticized.
thing I could have thought of.
Yeah,
See,
because like we're putting an 18-year-old Yildiz to fix a game for us. A kid that has 1 goal and 1 assist in Serie C. Okay, so yeah, and at the same time, I'm looking at and everybody's pressuring us like, no, we have to fight for the Scudetto. No, because I'm looking at Milan and Inter. Their bench, like they put experienced players out of from their bench. We're putting youth products, and like they're good, they're promising, but they're not the finished product. They don't have their level yet. We don't know their level yet. No, I'm not. And also, like in the first half, we were making a lot of individual technical errors while trying to build. In the second half, it was just nothing lethargy. Like we're trying to move the ball around, but nobody is figuring out the space. That's my only criticism of my major criticism of Fagioli is that he never figures out where to be in the space. Miretti was a bit better, if you notice, how to progress the ball, but then as soon as we move forward, he either gets tackled or he's hugging the ball a lot and not releasing it. So, and like also the coach, there should be instructions from Max. Come on, yeah, do this, do that, not just veloce every single time. Like go faster, faster, faster. Okay, we go faster, but where are we going faster? We're just kicking the ball. So yeah, that's my frustration from the game.
Yeah, I think he just wanted like in general, like wake up and do something.
Yeah, do something, but what's the plan we're trying to execute? No, like what are we trying to build? How are we trying to do it? Because our plan A isn't working. Because if every team in Italy, like thank God, we have geniuses as tacticians in Italy. You can knock on wood that everybody is smart and everybody knew how to neutralize Cambiasso, something we've been training in preseason all the time, how to use it, etc. It took them 3 games. They figured us out. That tactic is finished. Inverting and stuff from the left, throw it out to the window because everybody knows how to stop us from that. Now it's plan
they figured out
B.
if you block us out wide, we have no teeth going through the middle.
No teeth. As soon as Pogba was out, I was getting scared. Even though he was only
Pogba
available
was
30
never
minutes,
even in.
30 minutes, I know that somebody's gonna hold the ball, dribble the player, try to go forward. I know that I have this hope
I hate
this
to say
thing
it,
there.
but Pogba, a 50% Pogba is still
Like
better
a
than a lot of
20%,
freaking
a
midfield.
20%.
A
Just him
20%
available, just him there, like he's
being there.
figurine there.
What
But
Pogba
no,
did,
he had to dope the
that Bologna
dumbass.
game, he saved us. Let's be honest, because he made that pass to Iling, if you remember.
Yeah, against Bologna. Yeah, I know. I remember against Empoli, he was good. I was excited. I was super excited to see him back, and then the results.
Just
And now
really
in a
just
couple
like
of days,
like a plank of wood with his face on it.
yeah, like
Fun.
he
And what
collapsed.
the
Like,
good part about that is that a plank of wood is incapable of injecting steroids.
exactly. You can try to give it. You can try injecting it. It will reject. It
Some
says it's not halal.
shellacs are not are haram, but you know what I mean.
Oh my god. Anyway, but yeah, at the same time, I'm like, we didn't lose. Yeah, congrats. But us being title contenders, etc., hold
We need to
hold
throw
the
that all
carpet.
out the window. I think
No,
we
no,
need
no.
to play one game at a time.
Chill.
Every game,
And let's not pressure
one
them.
game
It's
at a
not.
time.
It's not for me. It's not bad that Juve is not competitive. Like, relax. Okay, this team is in transitional phase, full transitional phase with no investments. His goal is to get into Champions League, to get the money, to make it competitive again. Okay, it doesn't take a lot of rocket science to figure out our situation. No, we've lowered the standard. No, we don't have the money to put our standards where it should be. We don't have the financial power anymore to do that. So we have to go from zero back up because we crashed big time from all the shit storm that people blamed us, even though it's a bullshit case at the end of the
I
day.
think we could definitely make it to the top 4. I'm not.
Oh yeah. I have no fear of that. I have.
We shouldn't focus on it. We should just focus on beating every team. Like, who do we have next? Torino. We should
Torino,
focus
beat
on
them.
top 4. We should focus on
Exactly.
beating Torino.
Exactly.
Who's
Torino
after
beat
that?
them.
Milan beat Milan.
Milan
Who's
is
after
away.
that?
Milan away. I feel like it's a draw. I'll take it.
It doesn't matter. We should be
Okay.
trying to beat every
For example, people are
every
angry
time.
tonight. A lot of people are angry that we didn't play and we didn't win against Atalanta. I'm like, away at Atalanta and a draw, fine. I would rather win. Fine. At home, you must win. Against
Exactly.
Milan, you should never lose. Against those top ones, never lose points because every win is a 6-pointer at the end of the day. If you lose against them, draw. Try to win, but if you had to draw, fine, good. That's job done there. Okay, I'm not lowering the standards. I'm observing facts, bro. We had eight youth products. 8 youth products from us. Okay, we are doing a big progression. I'm all with the youth and stuff, but at the same time, you can't push these kids up to the echelon of Juventus and its brand and its name. No, maybe they will get there. I hope they get there.
We can't
force it. It's time. Father Time is gonna give us and show us the cards that we were dealt and tell us, okay, Yildiz is gonna be a great player, he's gonna be squad player, or he's gonna not make it for Juve. Okay, Father Time is gonna give us that, and everybody has to have the patience for that. And people are blaming Allegri. Okay, I blame him too because he needs to give more guidance because the people are still lost a bit. Even though if you remember, there was one factor that we kept the ball for 5 minutes and rotated.
Yeah. Back and
But
forth
still,
between Gatti and Danilo.
Gatti, Danilo, forward to Locatelli, left, right, and then no movement and goes back. And okay.
Or we have a breakaway on counterattack, get almost into the final third, stop, pass it back.
Pass it back.
Yeah,
Okay,
that whole
this doesn't work. It's not perfect. Let's go back. Guys. At the same time, some instructions on how to put the ball into the dangerous areas, guys. Like, thank God Coop Miners didn't have his shooting boots tonight, okay? Or he would have backed the couple.
Or Muriel, that matter.
Muriel, that was more Chesney saving our, but it was perfect hit. A perfect hit.
Look, there was that one shot I think Muriel did to Chesney, and then like he couldn't even catch that and almost deflected it to the other player. The same mistake it was
Coop Miners again. Coop Miners missed again. So like we lucky. I like Coop Miners as a player, but I'm so lucky that it was his bad day. It was a bad day from him.
No, we were lucky. I think so.
Yeah. How do you judge the players? some are giving tops and flops. Who would you be your top and flops this game?
I don't think anybody was good, but I don't think anybody was terrible. So like that, like
Exactly.
nobody
Like me.
being terrible today was a big
It was
plus.
average. It was average.
If
I
you
think-
think
One way
about
to
it,
put
if
it.
you really think about it, nobody being terrible away at Atalanta with the stadium rocking the way it was is a big
And we
plus.
didn't have our curva because
There's
they
no,
they
yeah,
were
because there's
been
it's under
constructing it.
construction. Yeah,
So
I
we
think
didn't have
Gavi
any
was
support.
really
It was
smart.
all Atalanta all the time.
it was smart to like have that tribuna, that curva, like under construction during the season, so you can't.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that's where our away fan section is. What are
Let's
we
do it
gonna
against
do
Inter.
about it?
We're just making it bigger for you guys next time if you visit us.
Yeah,
Close
we're
the
gonna
section
make it
completely.
a
But no,
cage.
like some people are putting pitchforks and kicking Allegri out. Like, guys, our goal is top 4.
Dude,
How
dude.
many times did our director say it? The players say it. The coach says it. There's a reason. At the end of the day, they know our squad, what it is. Okay,
Well,
Chiesa and Vlahovic, which Vlahovic we didn't have this game. Chiesa and Vlahovic alone is not gonna make you fight for a Scudetto. This is not. What are we playing? This is not the Lebanese league we're playing. No, this is the Serie A. You know.
the thing with the
Like-
whole Allegri out thing, you have to understand that like he's always been hated. Even when he came the first time at Juventus in 2014, I remember it perfectly when Conte gave the middle finger to Juve and say, "Oh, screw you guys, I'm going to Italy." They bring in Allegri. I remember the Facebook post. It was always
Oh yeah.
out.
I was
Prior-
honestly, I was angry too. Like, who they brought somebody that was sacked because he lost against Sassuolo. You're bringing them to a championship winning team, and then about 10 games in, I was like, no, this guy is good. This guy knows his stuff. And then we won
didn't he win? He was
against
the
Real
last-
Madrid, etc. No, he gave me good memories. Gave me a lot of good memories.
Well,
But now he's in a
lot of
situation.
fans-
The reason-
he won a
fans are
Scudetto with
starting to
Milan
go
before he
along
came
and,
to us. Before
I think the reason he is still staying with us because they know that this guy is 100% sure he will make top 4. And top 4 makes money, equals money.
Mhm.
we
I
made
think
top
they
4
are just
last
thinking
season
that.
without all the
Like,
bullshit.
they are not thinking more than that. They're
Yeah.
like, okay, I need guarantee of top 4. Who's the coach? Even though we're playing 7 million stuff, but our goal is this. We're giving you 7 million so that you get to this goal. Not more. More, okay, no problem, but not less. You can't get less than that. And he didn't last year even. He didn't. He got third in the easiest way possible. And we were playing bad. Even bad,
Yeah.
worse than
No, way worse
tonight,
than
honestly.
this season. Yes.
No. It was very bad, very bad. Like, we were just
And
crossing the
Serie
ball
A
all
is
the time. Crossing
arguably
the ball.
more
This
even this
game,
season. Nobody's
I'm
going to run
trying
away
to
with
figure
it
out
this
when
year.
did we cross the ball? Cross it, actually. We didn't, because maybe we didn't try. But most of the time, we were trying to go inside, trying to play inside. And
Also,
It's not working out.
from looking at from last year, you had Cuadrado on the wing. Now we replace it with Kenny and Weah much better. And then
much better.
Kostic gets replaced with Cambiaso, which is still a lot better now.
Yeah.
And then you have Ealing as well. But it's just the midfield. It's the midfield for us. We need to block the midfield. That's it.
My point, I'm saying it a lot. I like Rabiot, but I feel like
No.
It's time to move on.
it's limiting us.
It's limiting us because
limiting
he can
us
only
to
really
a level
do
that we
one
cannot
thing.
play. We can, like, how many times did he miss passes tonight? Also against
Many.
Lecce, he was doing it tonight. Also, like, how are we gonna play football if players can't execute? If they don't have the technical quality to execute? Like, we're using him in a way. If you notice, if we kick the ball long, we're using him as sort of like a center forward to protect the ball and stop it and stuff. Okay, instead of Keane doing it, we're using him as a center half because of his physicality.
And Keane did a pretty
But
good job today of
doesn't
stopping
work us.
those balls when he
That
got
doesn't
them.
make us progress. No, am I the only one seeing that?
No, I've noticed that since I've noticed that since his time at PSG. I don't know. I've never really been a fan of him, to be honest. Like, yes, he played well last season, but I've never really been like a support for Rabiot ever. I think he should have been subbed out. I think that's like my criticism with Allegri. When he likes a player, he's too stubborn to take him out.
That's my main criticism of him. Like,
Yeah.
if a guy is shitting the pants and not letting your game plan be a game plan and making you look stupid. Why are you still playing him?
Also,
You are getting criticized by one because of one guy.
Rabiot and Locatelli basically do the same thing.
Locatelli at least can hit a long ball. Rabiot, I look at him, I feel like he's lost. On the pitch, he's lost. He takes the ball and
Rabiot can maybe get you is better with his head than then like if we're gonna like really compare the two,
That
right?
piece plays pretty
He
much.
crashes the box better.
You could easily play with, I think, if I want to see Fagioli and Miretti play together and gain more experience playing together, because if we're thinking about the future of our squad, there's gonna be like this is like okay, like beautiful dream scenario, right?
Yeah.
We start playing Fagioli and Miretti more as a midfield pairing so that they can really start to learn to work together.
Yep.
Then come next season, right? Sule is having an amazing season so far, and he's getting a lot of play time on the pitch at the same time as Barnechea. And you bring back Barnechea and Sule at the same time. Let's say, look, Frosinone looks pretty good this season. If Frosinone has, both Frosinone and Lecce could easily, if they continue their kind of decent runs of form and how they've been playing, like they could easily finish 6th, 7th. You know what I mean, and get a Conference League spot. Do you know what I'm saying? If you're telling me that we have guys that are coming from a Conference League qualifying team back to Juve still hungry to fight, then we can play a front three with Chiesa, Vlahovic, and Sule. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you have a guy rotating into the midfield that's good. You let Rabiot go. I say try to go for Kefren Turam this in the winter, just so that we don't have to fight this. Just so we don't have to fight for him in the summer.
Yeah, I agree. I want him as soon as possible. Either him or Samardzic. Like
I would even prefer Samardzic, because that would lean us into a midfield that's a double pivot in an attacking midfielder, which I think
attacking midfielders. You mean?
Well, a double. I don't know why we're playing with this Regista. I think that you should play with a double pivot, and both of those midfielders take turns with.
You mean like a defensive pivot instead of having a deep-lying playmaker?
Yes.
Which we do.
And I would rather play with like two defensive midfielders and a cam than I would what we're doing now, which is like two central midfielders and a defensive midfielder.
And that's what I was telling him earlier. Like, why don't they do Rabiot and Locatelli as that defensive mid, since she's gonna keep playing Rabiot this season, and then have Fagioli play more as an attacking mid between Chiesa and Vlahovic, or Miretti, one or the other.
I would just like to see an attacking midfielder in the mix.
I think we have an attacking midfielder. His name is Fabio Miretti. But the thing is with Fabio Miretti is at the attacking end,
he should not be the last guy on the ball. That's what I've learned about Miretti.
And that's the thing.
He has positions to make those little passes, but he cannot be the guy to try to finish it.
I think he has to learn how to do it. That's part of his growth. Like I don't know, maybe we should win a penalty and give it to him. Like, go boy, score this penalty. Mentally unlock yourself.
I would like to see Miretti playing behind Moise Kean, because if Moise Kean can get into space, his bread and butter when he was as a youth product was like he could score from anywhere.
Yeah, and he tried today too. Like, that's the only thing. But again,
that shot that he pulled off when he beat two defenders and still gets the shot off and it's on target. Nobody else did that. Like, his improvement over the summer and his capability today to actually shield the ball and get the ball. He used to have a brick foot.
Yeah.
And he was like, every time you passed him the ball, it was going somewhere else. He trapped every ball he got today.
Well, I'm loving them. I think if Bones was here, he would also throw down on that as well. We got a lot of Keen lovers, honestly. It's just the rest of the world.
Also,
Look,
like
I have.
Bellingham at all. So yeah.
I think he was too pressured tonight. Sometimes the
Nobody
ball
came
he
to
was
help.
misread. Yeah, the thing is when the ball was coming in on top, when he has to be pushing up to stop the ball, he's a bit late on that, or he's misreading it. That's my only fault of tonight for Keane. Like
But
like
still,
when the
if
ball
he-
is cut, the trajectory
if
is not reading it.
anybody came to just absorb some pressure off of him at any point when he
Also,
was
he's
being
not getting
triple
fouls.
man marked.
I think he didn't get enough fouls because they were fouling him, and he
Mhm.
didn't
No,
get any
no call.
whistles.
That was one of the the referee wasn't terrible today, which was saying a
No, he
lot.
was okay. Like compared to
was
the
okay.
usual standards of what we expect from referees, it was better, to be honest.
Yeah, he usually pisses me off a lot more, but not a lot happened tonight for him to really screw
Piss
up.
our
Yeah.
yeah.
For sure.
Anyway, this is it.
That
Let's
is
see the
it.
next game.
Yeah.
Torino.
Yep. Next
I
week.
I want to see how much more intensity we have when we have the ultras. Because
Let's see.
I'm curious now, like, is all of these lapses of judgment, all of these kind of like not these kind of this kind of let's say lack of heart, is it the players having basically played in front of nobody that seems to care for so long that they just don't care? Because I can imagine that, like, if you're playing, like, look at the Roma players. Sometimes they play their fucking hearts out, even though most of them can be fucking ass at times.
Yeah.
Because
And
those Roma fans don't stop. You know what I mean? And
No,
if
they
we don't
don't.
have
Even though
fans
they're
in the
gonna
stadium,
get relegated at the end of the season if they continue like this, they won't stop supporting their team.
Sure.
Yeah.
enough.
And that's
and I
the
don't know
thing. Like
why.
this
Where
political shit that's going on between the management and the Digos and the Curva. Like for the sake of the team, these players are like, as Allegri said, he was right. They're butterflies. Okay, they blow in the wind. Okay, but if the wind is us, if we are blowing for them to go forward, they will succeed as they
Yeah.
did against Lazio.
Yeah.
But if we don't, and if we don't support it, look what's gonna happen. They falter under the pressure. The
I'll
G
never.
Wiz tonight was like, if you can hear them every time we had the ball, they were whistling the shit out of us. And when they had the ball, you can hear the stadium jumping around. That's the fact of the fans. That they're the 12th man. And eventually. And when the stadium is dry, there is nothing you can see against Lecce. What happened?
I remember there was a great interview with Stefan Lichtsteiner, and said the guy interviewing him asks him, like, why are you always yelling at the crowd? And he goes, well, what happens is that if, let's say, I take the ball and I knock the ball out off of an attacker, and then I manage to draw the ball off of him so it's our throw in, I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to yell as loud as I can into the fans that are right there. And he goes, because then they yell back at me. And then the other fans on the other side of the stadium hear them yelling, and then they yell. And then the fans
Yeah.
on the other side hear now two parts of the stadium were just yelling. They start.
Yeah.
And
Like
it
They start
goes,
together.
and then by that point, the whole stadium's on fire. And
Yeah.
you just took the ball off of them, and you're about to go now for the throw in. And turn
everybody's
around
with
and
you.
throw the ball, and everybody's with you. And now you're not just getting, now you're not a defending team that's got to take this, that's got to defend this throw in, that now has the whole wall of fans behind the attacking team yelling at you. We don't have that anymore.
There's
That
definitely
was
something
a
to be
big,
said.
That was a big thing. And then the thing is that when we had that, we knew we were coming home to to them giving us shit every time if we lost away games. So players knew we go our hardest on away games, and if we get them, we get them. But like,
Well, that's
At
the thing.
home, it was
ability.
win.
at home, it was a fortress until a couple of years ago. You couldn't even win at our stadium.
No,
You
it's
couldn't
not
think
because,
about
and
it. The
that's not
best you
because
could
of the
get was a
coach.
draw.
And that's not because of the coach. That's because
It's
of
not
the
because of the
shitstorm.
coach. It's
It's
because
because of the
yes,
shitstorm that's happening. Nobody is
exactly.
helping the team. If like stop with the bullshit. Help the team. The team needs you. Okay, the team really needs you. What is this? The big. My God, man! Look at our situation.
the biggest test for any fan and any sports fan, not just being a Juve fan, but for any test to pretty much test loyalty is simply when you're at your worst, not when you're at your best.
Exactly. I've seen us at our worst. I've seen us in
Oh,
Serie
don't
B.
worry, I've been on this road.
everybody here has been seeing us at the worst. We're not new fans here, okay? We're not part of the Conte Allegri first season, etc., success era. No. We were
Listen, we're the ones that
seven.
don't change. The coaches changed,
No.
the players changed, the jersey changed, the emblem changed. You know what I mean?
Nothing changed. Yeah, we know
Only
what we
we don't
are,
change.
and
I
also we
watched
figure
the
out
match
what's the
alone.
problem. For me, this fan situation is the major issue. It's the major issue, especially with a team this young and this frail. You need bigger voices to support them, and there's nothing because they want to make it. You want to sting our company and management, etc.
Nah, don't make that thing like. Don't make it as corporate. Don't do that. Come on.
Okay,
You gotta
no,
have.
I'm not making it corporate. They are making it corporate. They're trying
I know.
to what's the name?
I'm not talking about the fans. I'm talking about the club. Like they're trying to make it as corporate as possible. I'm like, dude, just bring in the fans, bring in the passion. Honestly, the one good thing in Italy is that the passion. I remember.
I know.
Years ago,
I think, but they said already. What's the problem? They said that the Digos is not letting them bring the mic.
It's like what people don't realize is that it's not just the issue that the ultras have is that the Juve management is not fighting more with the Digos to allow them to do that. And the big discrepancy is that this Digos governing body, right, is allowing the away fans to come into our stadium with whatever they want, but we're not allowed to do that in our stadium.
Yeah.
And it's not just like it's also like management is not standing up and saying, "Hey, what the hell?"
I think
is not defending us in our own stadium. That's like a big part of the problem.
Man, I remember 20 years ago in it, like, back in the Italian league when that was at its peak, like equivalent to the Premier League of today. I remember like every game was just loud, so much passion.
Okay.
I remember the 20.
No pyro, no party.
Remember that 20 years when Roma won that league? It goes against Parma, and all the fans stormed in and took all their clothes off. I remember that was
I know.
Shit I seen.
Ours, we won it in Cagliari, Yeah. Our first one, 2-0 Cagliari. What's the name? That ex-Roma player scored for us. We won it in Cagliari, I think. In the stadium of Cagliari, where they took... Not Vucinic, the one... B, his name starts with B. He used to play with... He's Italian. He used to... Yes. I remember that. And then I remember at the end, like he took his pants off and everybody was celebrating and crazy and flares. Now, because our stadium doesn't allow that, because it's too close. You burn the field if you try to do flares. My point isn't the flares. I'm all with the megaphones. Like drums, they're saying about the drugs and stuff. At least let the megaphones inside. No, who's gonna hide drugs inside the megaphone? Where are you gonna put it?
You can open a drum and look inside of it, or say, okay, yeah, you can only bring a fully clear drum.
Yeah, something fully exactly. Make an exception like that.
Then you can't
a transparent microphone.
If it's not transparent, look, they have them for prisons. I mean, not drums, but
okay, I understand.
I'm just saying,
exactly.
You can have. I've seen the transparent, like it's like acrylic drum body. Boom,
you can see from inside to outside, like
exactly. Done.
Exactly. If that's the problem,
I think with
that's a solution.
The flares, if I do remember what happened a while back, it was.
I don't care about the flares. Nobody wants flares. We just.
I remember though. I did remember.
It's a good effect, but we need the flags.
One of the Russian goalkeepers got hit in the head with a flare and got knocked out or something like that.
I think the flags also Beppe said about it. I think about that they are blocking the view, etc.
Yeah, no.
Let's put a section where that big ass flag is gonna be only in that area.
Also, can we do tifos again? Like, because that's what they're also stopping. It's like they're not letting
Yeah.
us do full
Did you see
tifos
yesterday
or anything.
Salernitana's?
Salernitana had a fucking amazing tifo. We can't do
Exactly,
that
bro.
shit anymore.
Man, they commemorated the wall from Pink Floyd. Like how insane is that? An Italian club doing
Yeah,
that, and the
that was pretty
diamond,
cool.
and it was so cool. And us, it's I Love Jay. The last time I've seen it, you remember? I think it was 2 years ago now, or
We
one
just
year
have like
ago.
a couple of flags
Couple of
buried in a
tifo
lot.
that they forced it, and it was bad. It was bad because it wasn't. That's the thing. People are thinking like fans are not coming because the game is bad. No, it's not because of that. Like it's because of
The
the
game is
politics.
bad
If
because of what's happening. Because we're
it's a
not
cycle.
defending the fans and not letting those guys come in. No, look, the whole thing that they were doing with the tickets, kind of scamming with the tickets and their merch and all that shit. They're not even arguing for that anymore.
Mhm.
That's the whole thing. It's like they're willing to make that a whole separate argument, but
I
they
agree.
want to at least be able to come in with flags and banners and even let ones be approved. Like I don't even know at this point how you streamline
Let's
the
see.
process.
It should be fixed. Do you have any news, Dave, from there?
I don't think they've made any headway. I mean, Kevin's our connection, so anything we get typically comes from him, which typically comes from Maurizio or one of the sources around him. I mean, they try. I think they're pretty fed up. There's obviously two sides to this story. I see the effect because I was at that away game in Empoli, and
It was crazy, no?
it was crazy, and I understand why flares aren't allowed because they set some of the advertisement on fire, right? Like there's a legitimate issue there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we're arguing for flares.
No,
No, nobody's saying flares.
and
I think the
yeah.
drums and transparent.
Yeah,
Like,
that should be allowed. I don't see
for
the
example,
issue with
they do it like that. Like they should put laws, more refined laws. Okay, like make it transparent. A microphone that is very small or something that you can
Or
check
maybe
it
you can
completely.
only have like a cone, like a cone megaphone, not an actual
Okay, not an
electronic one.
electric one.
Yeah, because
You
the
should
cone
go
megaphone's
bring back the
gotta yell
Vuvuzela.
really loud, and there you go.
Oh no, I don't. I already have problems with my eyes seeing. I don't want ear problems after a vuvuzela going down at you. What are we in South Africa or in Torino?
Not.
I'm
No.
kidding.
No, but yeah, that's a good idea. For example, like there should be some ways. The flags. I don't know. The tifo.
And they should.
Tifo. I don't get it. The tifo. What's the problem with the tifo? You put it at the start of the game and then you remove it. Exactly.
I don't think anybody really argues it, and I think that's
Yeah.
the point. Is like, especially from the ultras' perspective, just like, come on, like, just let us do that. And they're trying to prove with their moments of silence and then their moments of being extra loud the difference that it can make. And up until now, it seems like it's on deaf ears. They haven't really made a whole lot of headway with it.
I know. But they were saying that they're gonna try to talk again. They're gonna try to talk again. I don't know where it's gonna lead.
Well, we're under new management, right? So they're trying to get the new management to maybe figure this out. Yeah, something.
Yeah, something. There should be a compromise in some way.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm gonna head out because I gotta do a lot of studying. I got exams and midterms in these couple of weeks, so I gotta prepare.
Always with you.
Good
always,
luck with that, Jeff.
Good luck. Good luck.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. On that note, Misak, Tal, do you have any last points here before we do a full sign off?
I was curious to see what Misak thought about the Thiago Motta or Conte conversation we were having earlier.
Thiago Motta. I already told you you were here. No, you weren't here last week. No, I think I told him he's a fascist. I don't want any more fascists. I don't want reheated soup. Stop. Let's stop with it. Thiago Motta is a coach that is building something very good at Bologna, and we can take him and he can instruct. He can make us. He can grow with us. Usually, these coaches grow with us.
This is the exact. So you have the same perspective that I do, because I don't want to make. I want to make I want to make new decisions in the right way that we made like when we chose content, where we were like, let's go with
Exactly.
something new that's different than what we've had. And
Exactly.
let's give someone a chance. Let's roll the dice on something. All right,
That's
good.
how we that's
That's how
how
we
we
got Conte
were
the first time.
successful. Exact Conte the first time. Allegri was kind of exception, but no, he was something new.
But
that we
Allegri
didn't
also won. He was the last, the last Scudetto winners before
Yeah,
us was
Allegri.
Allegri's Milan.
Yeah, and then they dismantled his team and still made it to the quarterfinals.
And that team
in
was
the next year.
actually not that good.
It was shit. Let's be honest. It was
He made
Niang
that
and
team
Bayang and
play
some stuff like that. No, it was bad.
their capabilities.
I remember El Sharawi scoring a lot and then tearing his ACL and then AC Milan going kaput, dying. Anyway, I'm not gonna go again. I think Dave is gonna close the stream. My point is Thiago Motta all the way.
Yeah.
Hopefully as soon as possible because he's a good coach.
There you have it. Okay. Yeah, one of our longer ones anyways, guys. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for doing all the talking after I went about 2 hours straight. It's always nice to kind of kick back and let somebody else kind of it's just fun hearing your guys' perspective, right? You can see it from a listener perspective as well instead of just being the talker. Misak is
I don't know where you went.
I'm here.
Okay. On that note, screw it. I'll just play the music. I'll put the screen on. We'll take this away. Thanks, guys, for showing up and doing the post game with us. Thanks everyone for joining. We'll catch you with Torino for sure. Pro clubs, do that. Hit us in the Discord. Down in the description is the link. That's it. 0-0. We're sitting in fourth place, tied with Napoli ahead in third. Bearlack Nux time, and that's it. I mean, 0-0. What else is there to say? No dash, no party.
Exactly.